welcome to EDJ Studios. This is the EDJ Podcast, and I have a childhood friend, man, Macho, as I call him. We grew up playing baseball. We love touch like everybody else, I guess. Once you start growing up, and through the podcast, we kind of get to meet back up again. How you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. So how you been doing, man, since baseball? But how old was we? 15 maybe, I think, or something?
Yeah, probably even, like 13 or 14 even.
Yeah, for you, I'm older. I'm 35, so I'm a little older.
34,
Yeah. Yeah, so I was probably like 15. It's been a while, man.
Long
How you
time.
been?
Great.
Good,
great.
good. Getting old?
Yeah, definitely.
Unlike me, the man's in shape. I'm not, but how you been? I know. I think I used to play with your cousin too. Your cousin used to play on the
Yeah,
same
my
team.
cousin Lewis.
Lewis, yes. How's he? Good.
I haven't talked to him in a little while either. I moved down to
Yeah.
Attleboro, so
Been
kind
out
of
of touch.
far to
Yeah.
be connecting with people, but
Well, hopefully all those people are doing good. I know some of the people from the team. Sometimes I see them around here and there. That was fun times back in those days.
yeah, childhood. You don't have all the stresses of
Oh
being young.
yeah. Everything was a lot simpler back then. But yeah, no, man. I wanted to have you on because I know you've been doing construction. I seen you doing construction, doing investment in houses, and a bunch of cool things. You were just telling me before we even started, which I'll probably start with that. You were doing this marathon triathlon. What was that?
Yes, yeah. So I did a couple of sprint triathlons, um, more so just to kind of push myself, really, right? I wanted to obviously, we've been into sports kind of
Yeah,
growing
yeah.
up, and I kind of got away from that, right? Life, growing up, kids, and everything, um, and so I, kind of committed myself to getting back into the gym on a regular basis, and then I really just wanted to push myself to see kind of where my limits are and can I get past them. Um, and I figured a triathlon would be a
Yeah.
great way to do it.
That's a that's a big jump. That's pretty cool. Did you ever get like me? Did you ever lose shape at any point, or did you manage to stay in pretty good shape?
Yeah, I mean, there was, again, right, kind of when, first having kids and kind of getting into that whole life thing, right?
Yeah,
Just kind of put it all to the back burner.
yeah,
Um, and then, yeah, just kind of needed to get back to the disciplines, right?
yeah. Because you sometimes it's just you just so focused on providing, right? Like as I think all men between that age, especially when kids come, you just tunnel vision on
That's
providing, keeping the roof over everybody's heads and foods and all that. And you forget there's other stuff that you gotta do to maintain it. And then if you're like me, once you get to like 35, you're like, whoa, like this is becoming harder, like to move this body around.
yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, right? You get kind of focused, you get that tunnel vision on, making sure they're taken care of, getting them where they gotta go,
yeah,
making sure your relationship with your spouse is good.
another key part. Yep.
And that's, again, you can get caught up in all that so fast, and then you kind of lose touch with yourself, right? And
Yeah.
kind of, again, the things you need to do to kind of take care of yourself, right?
Exactly.
And so, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, for me, even to this day, if I start my day at 6 o'clock, I'm not gonna have time to work out. So I have to wake up at like
Should be.
4:30, 4:45, and that's kind of the first thing I do. Because if not, once I get back home at like 6:30, it's waking up the kids,
Kid.
getting them ready, getting stuff ready for my day, right? Going to the job sites, taking care of everything else, and then by the time you get back home, it's like, all right, now I want to spend a little time with the family before
Yep.
it's time to,
Yep. Homework,
yeah,
sports if the kids are in sports, and then you gotta go back to sleep. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
do it all
definitely,
over,
it's a
so.
crazy grind, man. Do me a favor, just pull the mic a little bit towards you. Yeah, you can just pull it just a little bit. There you go. Yeah, man, it's once if you fall into that routine, it's very easy to be 300 pounds. Just look at me. Just so you guys don't do it to yourself. But I am getting back in shape. My kids are getting a little older, so I kind of have the time to get back in that. But that's a big jump that you like. How did you like train for swimming, especially because it's running, biking and swimming, correct?
Yeah.
The swimming part, man, that is just scary. What did you guys? Is that like in a river? Like what?
Yeah, so that's in like I guess like a lake.
Okay.
Um and so that was actually, so I signed up at the Y, right? For one reason, like we were talking about, it opens at 5, right? So
Yeah.
that was one of the gyms that I would be able to get, to have the time to work out, but they also have a pool there. Um, so I was, swimming there faithfully, right? And that was another thing, right? I knew I wanted to get swimming into my workouts because it's very healthy for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't really, again, get in the discipline to jump into the pool every
Yeah.
morning at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
difficult. And then the Y that I go to, that pool that's open at that time isn't heated either.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
So,
Christ.
so in the winter when I was training, it was always like a,
Oh man.
let's
Yeah.
get ready to
Yeah.
jump
Yeah.
into
That's
it.
tough.
But so again, part of me wanting to incorporate that into my workouts was, if I commit to something and pay for it, because you got to pay for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
triathlons.
Exactly.
I was like, and if I pay for it, then I'm gonna stick to it,
Oh wait, you have to pay to compete?
Yeah.
Oh I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Yeah. So yeah, it is a commitment. Then.
Yeah. Yeah. But so yeah, so that was kind of getting into the swimming, and then like the running and the biking, right? I mean, growing up, we
Yeah.
kids, or at least when we were growing up,
Yeah. Yeah.
biking was like a common thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the biking wasn't too difficult, and then the running, right? Just kind of getting used to the jogging and stuff. But the one thing that actually threw me off on the triathlon, and this is kind of where it like was that push for me, was the swimming part, because at the Y, it's a pool, right? So you can see like down to the floor. You can see
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
One thing I've never liked about water, bro, is being in water
Yeah.
that I can't see under
Yeah,
me.
that's what I was
That
gonna say. I'm
shit.
like, swimming in a pool is cool. Like I grew up swimming. I'm a pretty good swimmer. In the beach, I grew up in DR most of my life, so swimming is easy. But over here is different. Like I'm swimming in dark waters when in DR the water is clean everywhere.
Yeah.
Like so that's why. Or like there's no sharks. At least in DR you never hear like people getting attacked by sharks.
Yeah.
But I seen those people that do those swimming challenges just on like open water. I'm like, nah. How many miles do you know? Like how distant? How much was the distance you swam?
So the swimming was only like a mile and a half.
That's still pretty
it's a
long.
good- yeah.
The swimming,
It's a
that's
good
a
distance.
far distance. That's far. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it definitely, again, just threw me off, just because I don't like being in water that I
Yeah.
can't see under me, and it's just a different environment.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then there's like a few people doing it at the same time, so sometimes you're kind of like hitting other people and stuff. So
They're splashing you in the face while you're trying to swim.
you're
Yeah.
trying to catch a breath, you get water,
Yeah.
and so that was probably the hardest part
Yeah.
of it. But that was kind of the part too where I was like,
Gotta conquer
bro,
your fear.
yeah, like you're not gonna fucking. I'm not
It's all
gonna say,
good.
but
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're not gonna quit,
yeah.
right? Like you spent like 4 or 5 months trying to
Yeah.
prepare for this. You're not gonna let a circumstance keep you
Yeah.
from doing what you were trying to do.
You already had that much time invested. That's pretty cool. I've been interested in doing not the water. I'm good with that. I'm trying to do some running, like in a marathon form or something like that, just to challenge yourself, push yourself. I think that's pretty cool that you did it. How did you feel when you finished?
I felt great.
Yeah,
Felt
you
great because
accomplished.
again, yeah, it was an accomplishment. It was pushing myself again to somewhere where I didn't know if I could make it.
Yeah,
And I think for me that felt really, really satisfying, to set a goal where you're like, I don't know if I can do this.
yeah,
I'm gonna give it my best. And then it kind of, as I was going through that process of the training for it, it was like, nah, we're gonna do this. Like
yeah.
we're committed now. And then once you actually achieved it, it was like, or once I actually achieved it, and then I had my wife and my daughter were like standing at the finish line. So it was like,
Pretty cool.
yeah, it was awesome to see them. They were like super proud of me. So it felt really great to actually achieve it.
It's a good lesson for the kids too. They see you like going through that process. How long did you say it was? 6 months or 5?
Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah. So imagine that your whole family, your kids are seeing you go through this process and then seeing the finish. It's a good lesson for them that hard work. You have to put it. It's part of it, and that's how you succeed. That's pretty cool. Will you do it again?
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely would. But I think again, well, kind of similar to you now. I don't know if I'm maybe the next one might be like a half marathon
Yeah,
or
something
something like
different.
that.
Yeah.
Maybe switch it up. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah. Have you kept up with like at least some part of the training after the whole?
Yeah, I mean, I still go to. I was at the gym this morning, so I still
Yeah,
go to the
big
gym
gym.
faithfully every morning. Um, yeah, and I just kind of keep those exercises incorporated in it.
Nice. Yeah, I got Fernando, which is one of the guys that does that I do. I also have a sports podcast where we just mainly talk basketball and UFC, which is what I really watch. I'm trying to get football in there too. I'm a football fan too, but gotta find somebody who I could talk football to. But they're in shape. Fernando's brother, he just came in and did a podcast with They're in shape. So I'm trying to surround myself because like whoever you surround yourself, you always get that you rubbed
Yeah,
off on that. If everybody's working out,
you gonna work out.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna end up finding the time to work out. So I'm in that process. So it's pretty cool. Um, so how did you get into construction? Did you go to school for that, or like how did you fall into that?
No, so I mean, um, kind of always done like a little bit of construction here and there.
Family
Um,
member or somebody? Yeah.
yeah, well, so growing up, my parents owned a few rental properties,
Okay.
and so they had always kind of brought in family or me, right,
Yeah.
to do like the smaller jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've always kind of been in construction. Um, then went to high school. I did like auto body for a little bit, and then just kind of came back to it. Um,
Nice. That's
yeah,
pretty cool, man. I think I tried it for a little bit in school. I did not like. I'll tell you right now. I am probably the worst uh handyman. I don't. My wife knows more about like handiwork than I do. She'll tell me what to do, and so I'm terrible at it. So I don't even know how. Like I said, I'm interested in trying to at some point invest in houses and in that market. But so you just fell into it. You didn't go to school for it. You just kind of picked up and it just kept going.
yeah. I mean, kind of just kept going from there. Took a couple of different sales jobs and stuff as
Okay,
well. But that landed me back in construction,
gotcha.
right? I
Yeah.
was working at like New Pro and Pella Windows and stuff like
Okay.
that. Um, so again, just kind of back into the construction side of things. And then um, like a year and a half ago, I just decided to get my contractor's license because I
Okay.
had the experience for it. So I took a couple classes, did that, and then got my construction license and kind of went from there as far as building the
The
company and stuff
company.
like
Yeah.
that.
Nice. Is that your company on your shirt?
Yeah, Magnificus Inc.
Nice. Nice. That's pretty cool, man. That's a big task. How building houses is not easy. There's a lot of I seen of course when I've never built a house, but when you have construction in your house and you see what's going on and all the rules that you
Yeah,
need to pay attention to. I've heard some horror stories about people trying to cut corners and do different things and it never really works out.
yeah.
How's that for you? Like the actual job part, is it as hard as people? Because I see the guys that do that, it looks super hard on your body. Is that part of why you stay in shape?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely part of it. I would say, you know, most days I'm sweating on a job site,
Yeah, yeah. It's
right?
not like me where I'm just sitting in a freaking office just answering phone calls. That's one thing. I'm like, I don't know what's better because it would definitely be easier to just keep moving instead of just sitting down all day.
Yeah, I mean, but again,
It's tough on the body.
yeah,
Yeah.
some days, we get like flooring jobs where it's like doing floors 2, 3 days straight and definitely feeling it in your back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a demanding career. But with that, kind of going back to what you said, when I started, right? Because it's different to like just be doing like the construction, like actually putting in the nails and stuff
Yeah.
like that, versus being the contractor
Yeah.
who now has to pull permits and has to know all the codes and has to know an architectural design and be able to read blueprints and be able to, speak with the inspectors and know what the things that they're going to be looking out for and stuff like that. So it definitely opened my eyes up to a lot more of what actually goes into it besides just, putting a piece of nail or putting a nail into a piece of wood or something like that. Um,
Gotcha. Which one do you prefer? It's much easier, I guess, just to
yeah,
do the labor. Yeah.
just to do the labor, right? But I mean, one thing that kind of brought me to actually starting the business was, um, when I was working at one of those companies, at one of my investment partners. So we had bought a couple houses in Memphis and stuff like that. But he had told me, you're either building your dream or building someone
Yep.
else's, right?
Yep.
Or you're working on your dream or working on someone else's.
100%.
And it just kind of made me realize, like, if I stay working at these companies,
Yeah.
I'm just making someone else rich, but I'm busting my ass for kind of nothing, right? Well, I mean, a paycheck at the end of the day,
Exactly.
but that's,
It's
who
still
knows if it's gonna cut it, you know what I mean, or whatever
exactly.
the case is. Um, and so it kind of changed my shift and my focus to starting my own company, and then so yeah, I would say it's definitely easier to be the employee
Yes.
as opposed to the employer.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll tell you, I I went from working 40 weeks an hour and
Yeah.
even kind of less than that, honestly, still getting paid full time,
Yep.
um, to now working.
Yeah. People don't.
I don't stop working,
Yeah.
honestly. My phone's ringing Saturdays, Sundays. I'm putting
Yep.
together quotes, pulling permits, doing architectural drawings, speaking to customers, doing the schedule, making sure my employees have work the next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
A lot of stress that comes with, and even when you're on vacation, you're not really on vacation because your phone always has to be available. I go on vacation and honestly, I have to bring my
yeah,
phone and I have to answer.
yeah,
People tell me like, "Why do you answer? You're on vacation." I'm like, because if I don't answer and everything goes to hell, I'm the one that's
yeah,
gonna lose. So no matter what, I have to
yeah,
pay attention.
yeah,
Um,
definitely. I was just in Florida back in August, and yeah, same thing. And even before that, I was in Puerto Rico in March. But again, right, being having my own business allows me
allows all those
those
things.
freedoms to be able
Exactly.
to, I don't necessarily have to go and put in my vacation in a month, right? A
Exactly.
month in advance, 2 months in advance. Um, or I can have the freedom and the funds to be able to go and do those things.
Exactly. It's
Um,
the give and take, but it's
yeah,
a lot of stress. A lot of people um, like people. You always hear this of you think your boss doesn't do anything or like, oh, he has it easy,
yeah,
and my bosses have always allowed me to look and see what they do, and I'm like, whoa. I tell it like I do not want my boss's job. Like they can have it. It's
yeah,
a lot. Is I have a lot of stress on the little part that I control, but it is a lot of stressful for everything to be on you. So especially like I learned a lot when COVID happened and we had to like not lay people off. Everybody went on unemployment, and we got most of them back. But that was very like you affecting people's families. Your decision end up affecting people's families.
yeah.
Like
And that's
you gotta think of that every time you have to make a decision.
yeah, and that's one thing I kind of learned with the construction side of things, right? Or with the company side, I should say, is, um, right, I have a couple employees now,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yep.
okay, now not only is my family dependent on me, but their
All the
families are depending on me,
yeah.
right? So I have to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I always have a story. I had and then back then I was like just a manager, and somehow, some way, wasn't my fault. This man did not receive his check, and been working for me for years, and his daughter's birthday is the next day.
Mm.
I'm like, and he's telling me I've been hearing about the plans that they had for a while, and that Friday I did not want to call this guy. I'm like, I don't know why your check is not here. I'm trying to figure out, but most likely you will not get that check today, and you have to tell
Yeah,
him that, and I didn't have the heart to do it. I literally grabbed the money, like I made the math and I knew how much his check was gonna be. Like I literally gave him the cash, and then once the real check came in, we figured it out. But I was like, I'm not letting, and it wasn't my fault. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's what you have to do if you're running a company. You have to make those sacrifices, and it's tough, man, because you everybody it's so, the word boss is so like attracting to people, but it's really not
Yeah.
all that that you guys think it is. It's stressful, but you get rewarded for it, so
Yeah.
can't complain. How did the investment side come up? Like you started construction, and then what, you bought your first property? How was that like?
Yeah. So it was actually, so it was kind of the opposite, right? So growing up, like I was saying, my parents owned a few rental properties. Um, then they ended up losing it all. But you know, I learned from them as
Yeah,
to where their downfalls were. Um, and then COVID, right? COVID happened. A lot of people. So at that time, I was working at New Pro, and a lot of the people I worked with got laid off. But they kept me on board, you know. And again, being at home, didn't have much expenses at that time because everything was closed,
yep,
right?
yep.
Um, we were getting those the COVID checks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Got a couple of those. So at that time, me and my wife just decided, we were living in an apartment in Drake at the time, and we were like, all right, well, it's time to just buckle down and let's buy a house.
Yeah.
And then even with that, it took a little bit of convincing for me to get her to want to buy a multifamily,
Yes,
because
yes.
she just wanted to, you know, buy a single family and just
Not
worry
deal
about,
with it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. Like everything looks very easy, but like dealing with how do you,
Tenants.
tenants, yeah, tenants is it's tough. Like especially if you have bad luck and get bad ones. Like it's
Yeah.
just, so I understand. Like my parents, my parents bought their first house way back, and I was like, listen, the move, you hear all these things on TV, like the move is a multifamily, you're gonna rent the other one, pay. My mom was not having it. Afterwards they were like, we should have done what you said, but you just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I mean, it's it's gonna be hard either way, I feel,
yeah,
right? Like either you know, kind of commit to a single family, but you're committing to yourself working for 30 years to be able to
yes,
pay that mortgage,
yep,
right? Or you commit to a multifamily, and depending on what you buy, right? So when you buy multifamilies, the mortgage companies do self-sufficiency test, it's called. So if you buy like a 3 or 4 family, they want to make sure that 75% of the rent will cover the mortgage,
okay,
right?
so yeah,
So in that case, if you buy a 4 family, 3 of them will cover the mortgage. You're living
free, yeah,
free.
yeah.
Um,
Who wouldn't
so
do that? Yeah,
yeah, right. But you take on that other hard, right? The
yeah,
tenants, dealing with any issues with the property,
yes.
things like that. Um, so it's, I feel like it's hard either way.
Yeah, I think people just look at it. I think you probably look at it like I look at it. It's just work. At the end of the day, it's just work. A lot of people look at it as like, yeah, but I'm home. Nah, they're at my house too, and they're like bugging me when I'm home. I'm off. I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be off, and you really don't have that. When a pipe decides to break,
yeah.
like or
I will say, so like when we were looking at buying a house, right? And this was kind of um like good for myself and my wife, right? So we lived in an apartment in Drake in Skyline. I'm sure everybody knows that up
yeah,
here.
yeah,
But one of the people that lived downstairs from us, we were good friends with them, and they were actually looking for a house at that time too, a single family. Um, but the the husband, he used to be like, "Oh, you guys are crazy for buying a multifamily. A pipe's gonna burst at
yeah,
2 in the morning. You're
yeah,
gonna have tenants calling you. Blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Well, my parents owned a few multifamilies. I mean, they once in a great while they
yeah.
got a call late
Yeah,
night,
yeah,
but it wasn't like
yeah.
it wasn't anything crazy."
You must be, as a homeowner, not be that you not taking care of the property for stuff like that to just randomly start popping off all the time. Like
Yeah,
there was something probably going on before. So
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. So there was definitely, you know, most likely some warning signs, and they just kind of skipped it, and they just want to keep all the money, you know,
yeah,
if you're that type of landlord,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where some stuff happens. Again, a pipe might burst or something
You
like
can't
that.
control
That's,
that. Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, I haven't had a call at 2 in the morning. Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I've lived there. I've owned the house for about 5 years now. Um, but the other thing too is the tenants, right? You gotta do your background checks on people. Um, But I think the biggest thing is really just treating people right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've so when we bought the house, there was a couple tenants in there. They were paying way below market rent. So we told them, listen, you either got to pay more or you're
Yeah.
gonna have to
Go.
move,
Yeah.
right? We're not telling you got to leave today,
Yeah. But
right?
yeah.
But in a few months, you're gonna have to get out of here.
Yeah.
And we'll try to accommodate, right? We can, maybe give you some money back on your last month's rent or something like that to
Make
try
it.
to help
Yeah.
you out, Um, but again, just being really, just treating people like people, right? As
Exactly.
opposed to like, oh, they're just a tenant, they just rent from me,
Yeah.
right? Like, nah, this is their house too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you want to treat them with
Exactly.
respect,
And
of
you
their
want
home.
them to treat your property also with respect. I've never had an issue with a landlord. Uh, every landlord I've ever had was actually pretty upset. I was actually leaving. So I've never, and I had landlords, same thing. I had a landlord that, he came to me and told me, he was like, I was there for like, a few years and, rent has gone up everywhere. And then he's like, I didn't want to tell you, like the way he asked me, it was even so good. I tapped him and was like, hey man, like,
It's
it's cool. Like I understand. I kind of knew this was coming. Like it's
yeah,
no problem. Like I understand everything's as good. It's fine. And that's how cool he was because he was like, I don't want you guys to leave. I don't want to.
yeah,
Around that time I was just having my kids. So it's like you said, it's just about treating people the right way. If landlords, they're you're helping them pay their property at the same time.
yeah.
So they're not really out here trying to mess with you unless you're just an asshole. But again, sometimes, but you have those bad stories about somebody not paying, you can't kick them out, like so that's pretty much what turns people off
Yeah.
from that. So I had a friend who we actually do the podcast, he actually does a podcast, and he had several properties. He literally sold all of them because he did not want to deal with the tenants. He was just like, and I'm like, before he did, I didn't know him before he did. I'm like, dude, if I would have known, I would have told you. I'll manage it. Like,
Yeah.
like
Just get a
hire,
property management company.
like just hire somebody to do it, man.
Pay
Like,
them
don't
10-15%, and then you're good.
Yeah, yeah. But it's sometimes you do hear those horror stories and it turns people off.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, you could get a tenant that
Yeah,
just puts that first last security and then they don't pay anything,
exactly.
and they're like, nah, I'm just staying here for 6 months or a year until the judge tells me I gotta go, and then
And
that's
the
it, you're eating
law
it. But
is kind of like it's tricky because they have a lot of like benefits and a lot of ways that they can actually get away with it, and it is scary. There's no way around it, but
yeah,
you have to take the plunge. I guess there's no other way.
it's
Like
the only way to do it, right? You
like,
gotta take the leap of faith, because again, it's either you're working 30 years to pay that mortgage, or you're just working on the property pretty much, but you
exactly,
live free,
exactly.
right? So it's a trade-off.
Like I said, if you view it like it's just work at the end of the day,
Yeah,
and you're working anyway, so you might as well work for yourself, right?
yeah,
And you get to make the decisions at least, right?
definitely.
I always had this question, and I don't know if you can answer it, but might as well ask you. What's easier? What's more recommended? Like, what would you do? Would you build the house from the ground up? Like, let's just say you just wanted to buy the piece of land and just build everything from the ground up, or is it better just to buy an already built house? What's cheaper? A lot of people don't. Obviously, if you build it yourself, it's most likely you're gonna save some money. But if you don't know what you're doing, it might not even be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a contractor,
Yeah,
right, and you're building the house, then it's probably gonna save you some money. But
yeah,
if you gotta hire a contractor to build it, I mean, it's kind of a personal preference, right?
yeah,
So older homes, especially where in Massachusetts, you have a lot of older homes.
yeah,
Um, so older wood
yeah.
is stronger, much stronger than new wood, right? So like
Whoa,
framing
whoa,
for
whoa,
houses
whoa!
and stuff
I did
like
not know that. So, what? Why is that? Wood is wood? What do you mean?
So now they farm trees, right? So now they just grow trees. They only let them grow for like 20 years or so, maybe 10, right? Depends on what kind of lumber they're looking for. Um, so they're not as old, they're not as strong, right? Back in the day, they would go and cut forests. So you'd have trees that are like 100, 200 years old. So the lumber was much stronger. Even if you like use saws, like
Whoa.
using a saw to cut like
Old
15 pieces of old wood versus 15 pieces of new wood is crazy. Like the amount of time it takes. It's, I mean, it's not drastic, but
Yeah,
it takes more time. You got to replace the blades much more often. So
Wow.
older homes, the framing is better.
Wow, I did not know that. I had no idea. But see, that's why I brought you here, man. See, that's crazy.
But again, you kind of fall into the opposite end of it, right? Where like if the plumbing is all outdated, electrical
Yeah.
is all outdated, then you have to upgrade all that, which might mean taking down the walls and taking everything down to the studs again.
Jeez.
And then now it kind of goes to like, well, do you like the layout of the house, right? Is it gonna be cheaper to do all that work, or is it gonna be cheaper to just build a new house?
Yeah.
So it kind of goes either way. But yeah, the lumber is definitely much better
Wow.
back in the day.
I had no idea. Nobody. All the information I've heard of, the research I've done, that's never come up. That's very interesting, and it makes sense. You definitely back then you're not building as many houses, so you have more trees to when you needed a house. Now there's probably less forest to pick from, so you just wow.
Now they just grow them and cut them. And the other thing is now, so like if you were to take a wall down from an old house and you see 2x4 and you measure it, it's actually 2 inches by 4 inches. You go to Home Depot right now and get a 2x4, it's gonna be 1 3/4 by 3.5.
Wow.
So it's not even the actual size.
Yeah.
And then the next one might be 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. You know, so now it's even with that, it's a little variations on it.
See, so there you go. So for all those people that complain, like, I just don't want to buy an old house because of this and that, you might, wow, because you're thinking like, it's older, might break down easier, but it might not be the case. Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I did not know that. Man, but what will you do you're a contractor? What will you do?
Again, it kind of depends. So for me,
let's say you had the money also, like that.
yeah,
Like, we're not talking about.
in the future, I'm definitely gonna build my own house, but that's just more because I have kind of my own idea of.
Yeah.
I'm big in visualization.
Yeah.
And so I kind of already have my idea of what my future house would probably look like.
The reason why I ask is because me and my wife, I've always, like, I'm a homebody. I love my house. I love spending time with my house, with my family. I don't think I'm ever going to buy a house that, like, fits everything I want or it's just not going to happen. So at some point, I'm probably going to end up building a house for that reason. And of course, at that point, like, I probably won't be thinking so much about the cost because it's just your home where you're planning on, living the rest of your life probably. Yeah. It's not about, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but again, that kind of ties into like, right, are you, with what you're envisioning, can you fit it into something that's existing? Right?
Yeah.
Are you somebody that doesn't need a huge house to kind of make all those things happen?
Yeah.
Or are you somebody that's like, nah, I want to have, this designated area for me that looks exactly like this? Then you're kind of better with the building it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, in that aspect, no, I don't need a big space or nothing like that. But I've always found this very weird. I'm like, why are most houses here? Like I said, I grew up in the Dominican Republic. So, like, why do bathrooms get made in the kitchen? Like, I'm like, every time I go to a place and I see that, I'm like, next. Like, I don't care what the rest of the house looks like. It doesn't matter. Like, there's certain things that I'm just like, why? Like, why was this done this way? Like, come on. Like, do you have an answer for that? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's really no like code or anything for that. I think it was probably more so just people's logic for convenience.
Oh, maybe plumbing, like it makes it easier. I don't know.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to connect a sink right there. But I mean, if it's on like the first floor, which usually a kitchen is on the first floor, it's not a huge deal because you run everything through the basement anyways.
Yeah. I always had an issue with like, there's just little things like that. Same thing with like a tub. I'm like, why the hell? Like, nobody uses that damn tub. Like, why do people put tubs in? Like, just give me a shower, man. Like, I don't. So there's little like things like that I'm just like, I just can't. I don't understand it. So I would definitely love to build just my house at some point. But I always had that question. I'm like, wouldn't it make sense if you like knew the right people and had the money just to build your own house?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, if you know the right people, if you have, the plumbers and the
Yeah,
contractors and the electricians and the HVAC guys to do it, um, yeah, it'd probably save you a couple bucks, right? Because again, you never know what you get into when you start taking down walls, right?
yeah,
And that's the other thing. Like you might buy an older home and be like, oh, we're just gonna update the bathroom. And then
yeah.
the
All of a
plumbing
sudden,
inspector comes in and he's like, nope, you got to
yeah,
redo all the plumbing. And it's like, whoa, that just turned from a $10,000 job to 20. Like,
yeah,
I don't even have the money for
yeah.
that. What am I supposed to do now?
Exactly. And sometimes you already started, so now it's like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I seen that. I seen that happen. I seen so many things. I seen people try to again with the shortcuts. They get somebody to that does not a contract, does not know the rules to build you your whole basement and do all these redoing and build your new bathroom and do all this stuff. And then one little thing happens and the state has to come and all of a sudden it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
this whole thing is and you have to literally tear it down. I've
Yeah.
seen that happen and I'm like, yeah, see, sometimes what's cheap may cost you in the long run way more money
Yeah. And
than
that's
you
the thing,
than you.
going that cheap route isn't always the best route. Definitely for anybody watching, make sure that the people you hire are licensed, right? You can go
Yes.
on Mass.gov and check and pull up,
Yeah.
type in their name, boop, boop, boop. It'll show you their contractor license, when it expires, and all that. Um, one, for things like that, right?
Yeah.
Because you just want to make sure that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Two, they might tell you they pulled the permit, but they can't pull a permit if they're not licensed.
Correct.
And then the inspector comes through and they stop everything
Yeah.
and tell you, no, you got to find somebody and pay
Again.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
more than what that guy charged you.
Yeah.
And probably even more because he probably did some work wrong and cut those corners.
Exactly.
And
It's not worth it. In the long run, it's not worth it.
yeah,
Like I said, I seen it, and I was just like, oh, learn that. I'm not.
yeah,
That's why me myself. That's why I've never even tried to like learn how to. Also, I don't have family members that are good with that sort of thing. But I've never been the one. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna watch a YouTube. I probably could do it. I'm gonna watch a YouTube video and
figure it out.
yeah, probably could do it. But I'm just like, you never know. Like another thing that people don't understand is like a house is everything's connected. Like you live in a neighborhood, your pipe somewhere, your electricity somewhere's all like you could shut off the whole electricity for your neighbor or like blow a pipe that hurts the other house. Like there's all that stuff that you have to like pay attention to when you're messing with a house, and that's why all those rules are there to protect even the neighbor.
Yeah. And even a future home buyer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Say, you hire somebody who's not a licensed electrician and they do some stuff, and then all of a sudden, you sell the house. 2 years later, the house catches on fire. They come back and see like, oh, it was done at this time from this person, and they didn't hire it.
Yeah, it's a whole big thing.
You might be getting caught up for something, which is again, if somebody's licensed, then they have to have all those insurances and everything. So
yeah,
it would cover your butt.
Exactly. What's next for you? Are you planning on keep buying homes? Do you do like a quick buy a home and flip them, that sort of thing, or both, where you buy a house and rent it? What would you prefer?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do both. So like I was saying, we have the 4 family, which we're planning on just probably keeping that forever.
Yes.
You know,
Always
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Makes
tell my
sense.
friend. I'm like, look, yeah, that could have been passed down through your family forever. Like,
Yeah. And then the thing is like you said, there's, real estate's one of the best investments because it's, especially in Massachusetts, the value's always going up.
Yeah.
Um, and then again with rental income as well. But then what you can do is, you fix the property up a little bit, you get a line of credit, home equity line of credit or something like that. The rent's still going to be covering it. Now you have a bunch of extra money to go buy another house.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So I think I definitely like rental properties for that reason.
Longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a strategy that I've been utilizing. It's called the BRRRR strategy. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And
I seen some videos on that, and that seems pretty cool. Again, but you have to, be a contractor basically
I
in a
mean,
way.
you don't have to be a contractor. That's part of the reason I got my contractor's license
Yeah.
as well, was just so I can buy the properties and then pay myself to repair them,
Yeah.
right? Because you usually get a loan
Yeah.
of some sort, to pay for the
The
property
repairs.
and
Yeah.
the renovations.
Yes.
Um, so
Not
that way
using
we're
all
just
your money.
kind of going back into my pocket, right?
Yeah.
Um, but then with that strategy, right, as long as understand kind of how to calculate property values and stuff like that, what that strategy teaches you is to pretty much buy a house, renovate it, rent it, and be able to refinance it. And when you refinance it, you're putting all of your money back in your pocket.
Yep.
So now you're making what's called an infinite return, which is you didn't put any money out of pocket, but now you're just making money,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
Um, so that's definitely a good strategy to utilize,
Yeah.
but it's tough to find those properties because you have to find a property that's going to be worth. You have to buy it for pretty much like 50 or 60% of what it's going to be worth when
Once you
it's
fix
done.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, you have to know what you're doing,
yeah,
because if not, it's again. So yeah.
yeah. But
It's
with that too, again, some fix and flips too. I bought a couple properties out in Memphis, um, that we did that too. Um, and again, it's really just about, is the value there, and does it make more sense to flip it or keep
you'll
it
keep
and
it.
keep it
Yeah.
long term.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So you're actually also purchasing out of state. Um,
Yeah,
Different rules. You're not there, so it's a little probably riskier, or probably less money. Massachusetts is expensive,
yeah,
so in other areas you probably could find cheaper stuff. But
significantly
yeah,
less,
yes. So
like under 100
yeah,
for some
yeah,
of them.
yeah. I was one of those where like I bought outside first because like I keep repeating, I'm born in DR, so I bought property over there because it was just way cheaper,
Yeah,
way easier. So I was planning on buying in Puerto Rico. At one point, there was, I forget when it was, but the big hurricane or whatever. Like I was looking at, I've been looking at this stuff
that's one
for a
of my
long time.
goals. I gotta
Yeah,
buy
like
something on PR for
yeah,
sure.
I kick myself in the head all the time because I saw houses over there that I could have bought a bunch of them, and I didn't pull the trigger because I'm stupid. But like you see opportunities like that, and then now you see Puerto
Now
Rico.
they're
It's like
now they're
yeah,
expensive out there,
I
bro.
literally went to the same houses that I was looking at, and then I looked at. I'm like, oh my god. That happened to me also in Maine. I was a big fan of Maine. I like going to Maine, uh, hiking and rivers and stuff with my family. We go all the time, and started going to Maine probably 8 years ago. And when I was there, I was like renting these Airbnbs, and they were so cheap. And I'm like, I should buy one. And I kept telling myself I should buy one. And now I go look in that same area, is like they just triple. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm so stupid. But that's part of it. Like you can't be afraid of losing, or having a tough time. Do you think about that, like when you make investments?
Yeah, I mean, I try to calculate it as
Mm,
best as possible,
yeah.
right? Especially, if you're planning on like a flip, um, you definitely want to take a look at, at least the area within a mile, see how many houses sold, when's the last time they sold, right? How active is that market?
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Especially if you're looking to flip, right? Or if you're looking to rent, right? How's the market? How's the rental market in that area? Is the rent coming up, right? So like in our house in Attleboro, that was kind of one of the things that drew us to it, was that rental market was increasing, the property values were increasing significantly. Like our property taxes almost doubled in 3 years, bro, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. That's another thing for people to keep in mind. When you start doing all this construction to your house, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you buy a house for 500,000 and you put 40, 50,000 into it, you better believe your mortgage is going up next year.
Well, yeah, you increase the value of the property, which
Yeah.
also increases the taxes and
Yeah.
everything else that comes with it. Makes sense.
But
A lot of people probably don't even think of that. They
yeah,
just, uh,
which is like, right, because now you're like, okay, right, the mortgage company told us it was going to be $4,000 a
yeah,
month, but now next year your property taxes brought you up to 4,250,
yeah,
and then the next year it's going to be 45.
yeah,
Now you're like, oh, well, you better start figuring out a way to make
Yeah.
that 200, 300, 400, 500
Extra.
a month extra.
Yeah, and like we've been saying, like life is like life just gets more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. So you really can't like stop that. Like it's
Yeah.
just the trend of living anywhere, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough. Is like you have to again do your homework as much as possible. And if you're doing it in, for the reasons that I want to get into it, which is business, you also gotta, keep out with money. Not everything, because everybody thinks of like, I invest this much, I expect double or triple that.
Yeah.
And even if they make, 50, they're like, but I was you're expecting all this money, all the like back. And it just doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
Even when you're just flipping home, like because people just see on TV.
Yeah, they watch HGTV.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, that's
yeah.
easy to make $100,000 in 3 months.
Exactly, and it's not.
There's a lot more to it than
Yeah.
just, buying a house and having somebody do a couple things to it for sure.
That's like one of those things where like it's hard to guess the market. Everybody does try to do all those math, and you just don't really know.
Yeah.
Do you have an advice for like people, like how much when you first had it, like how deep did you go? Did you throw everything in there and like left nothing back? Like how what did you do
as far as like the finance side
Yeah.
of things? Or so to buy the 4-family, so we live in that 4-family still right now. So for that one, that was a mortgage under
Yeah,
like,
you're
my
living there.
personal name.
Yeah.
So we obviously put quite a bit down for that. But for the investment properties and actually even renovating the house in Attleboro. So again, COVID was a blessing. I know people,
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of motivational stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And every struggle and every adversity, there's a lesson and a blessing, right?
Yes.
And so one thing I did during COVID, was, again, we really like buckled down on saving.
Yep.
But then I started learning about business and business credit.
Okay. Yep.
And
very important.
I leveraged that. So
Yes.
like the houses I bought in Memphis, I didn't even pay for them out of pocket. I just used business money and 0% interest on those
Yeah.
credit cards.
Yep.
Right. So I didn't actually really pay for anything. I leveraged the credit from the company to pay for the houses, to then sell the houses, to pay back that credit on a 0% interest.
See?
And then I just kept all the profit.
You keep everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
So that's the way. And that's the best way to do it, right? Because at the end of the day, if it's a business and you don't have personal guarantees on those credit cards and
Yeah.
stuff, or those lines of credit,
Yeah.
and let's say it just all goes south,
Exactly.
well,
Yeah.
that's the business. That's
Exactly.
not Eddie. That's
Exactly.
not Matcha, right? That's
Exactly.
the business. That business is taking a hit, but you're not coming back for my 4-family. right?
Exactly.
You can take those properties in Memphis.
Yeah.
But I mean, thankfully that wasn't the case. But again, it was just during COVID, I really learned. And part of it too was before COVID, right? I was still trying to buy houses, but I just didn't really have too much funds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of what also led me to Memphis as well.
Yes.
Was that, but I was really just like, I used to watch all these videos on YouTube and Instagram about other people's money and how to buy and
Yeah.
buy houses with no money down, and I was like, bro, there's got to be a way for
Right.
me to do it. If all these other people are doing it, there has to be
yeah.
a way. I just got to figure out how.
Did you of course you flew down there, did you like looked at everything before you bought? How was that process? I'm assuming it was scary since you don't live there.
Yeah, so the first one, so I bought a couple houses out there. So the first one, I actually didn't go out there, which
You should have.
yeah, definitely
Yeah.
should have.
Yeah.
But so I had a partner that I invested with at that time, and he told me he did go out there, but that property was a lot rougher, I guess, than what he made it seem. So that one had me a little nervous, where I was like, oh shit, maybe I got a little excited on this one, you know, because it's a rooming house, so it was making good money, right? I think the mortgage was like So we had a hard money loan. So those are a little different than like a regular mortgage.
Yeah, yeah.
It's interest only. But we bought that house for I think 75,000. The mortgage was $800, and it was bringing in $3,000 a month. Right, so it was like it was
Like,
positive
yeah,
cash flow all
exactly.
day. So it
Yeah.
was like, why wouldn't I buy
Yeah.
this? But then I got down there like 2 months later. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah, this
maybe
needs a lot of work.
yeah, maybe I bit off a little more than I could chew. But then from that, I when I was out there,
You
I
saw
found another property, and I was like, well,
Oh,
let's go take a look at this
this
one.
one.
And then we ended up buying that one too. And that one wasn't that bad. That one was in pretty good shape. It was in a good area. Because again, that's the other thing too, right? When you're buying properties out of state, really when you're buying property anywhere, go and take a look at the neighborhood. Talk to the people that live
live
there.
there. Yep.
Ask them, how is this area?
Yeah, a
Right.
picture might trick you. Like you could do
Oh,
a lot of stuff with
yeah,
pictures. You're like,
yeah.
oh, it looks nice. There's trees, there's backyard.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. And then all of a
Like,
sudden you get there and it's like, whoa.
oh shit, this is
It-
in the hood, right?
yeah,
And in
exactly.
and Memphis is different than like Lowell, right? I'll
Yeah.
say like you can go from like $500,000, $600-700 million houses to the next street is
Like just,
fucking run down, abandoned house, like looks like you're like, oh, I'm took the wrong turn.
yeah.
I'm definitely not where I'm supposed
Yeah.
to be. So yeah, you definitely want to go out there, take a look at the area, speak with the people, and get a vibe for it, because again, pictures can definitely trick you, and again, and like in an area in Memphis, right, where I was talking about, you want to get the value of the home, right? So you figure out, what the houses in the area have sold for.
Yep.
But now you're not really comparing apples to apples, right? You might be comparing a house that's in a much better neighborhood, even though it's only 2 streets over or just across the highway.
Yeah.
And that's not what this home's going to be valued at.
It's not like here where like if you're in a certain neighborhood, everybody has to be around the same
Yeah.
level. If not, it devalues the neighborhood and it's a problem.
Exactly.
So over there, they don't have that. They just
Yeah, over there
Yeah.
it's different. Like
Yeah.
you get into those, you make the turn into the right neighborhood. You made that right turn. There's a cop sitting right at the beginning of the street, just
Yep.
in the middle of the road, like just looking at the people who are coming down that street, just to
Keep everything
check.
safe,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's Memphis is a different place, bro. Everybody out there has guns. Like
Yeah.
I remember we walked in to talk to one of the tenants in the rooming house, and to show us like kind of what issue she was having in her unit. And she's like, yeah, just go in the room. You can take a look around, blah, blah, blah. I walk in. I'm with my buddy and look down. There's a gun right there. And she walks in. She's like, yeah, da, 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 da. Oh, let me grab that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have a gun around here. Everybody has a gun. You guys don't have a gun?
Different.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
No.
It's different. Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a different vibe out there for sure. But yeah.
The whole thing is, and I've been kicking myself in the head, like I said earlier, is at the end of the day, if you want to progress, if you want to make something of yourself, there's a risk. And there's level of mental fortitude that you need to have, like when you're gonna make investments like that. It's never easy. Like people look at it, they probably would listen to your story and be like, oh, he did it here, but I'm sure like before you pull the trigger to do what you were gonna do, you thought about it, you stressed about it, you probably couldn't sleep. Or at least that's how I am every time I'm gonna do something. Like it seems easy, but it really isn't that easy because of the what if this doesn't work. Like you have to be able to put yourself out there because there is that chance it might not work or you might make a mistake. Like when I built the studio, geez, I spent so much money just because I had no idea what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
And one of the things I did because I knew, and I was trying to trick myself. It was a form of tricking myself. And people that listen to the podcast already heard this before. But I pay the rent here for 3 years up front because I gave myself no way out. Like once I do this,
Yeah.
I can't back out because I know I probably would have stopped all of this midway because I'm like first time I open up the studio and I'm looking at all of this and I'm like, oh, it's $10,000 a year for this spot. I'm like, for a year comes around nothing. I'm like, oh, there's 10,000 that so I knew if I would have not done that and like set myself up for those 3 years, give myself 3 years to be like give yourself a chance to see if this is actually gonna work, I would have quit, before the time comes where we are now, where the studio pays for itself. But I had to literally trick myself and force myself to give that money up front, so I didn't have a way to back out of it.
Yeah.
You have to literally do that so you could actually make that step. The
Yeah.
first step is the hardest, like they say. So
Definitely. And that's kind of like it's interesting, right? Because even with like my triathlon thing, right? Like that was kind of the same thing. I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of a life thing, right?
commitment, yeah,
You have to when you get that idea of something that you want to do, you have to commit to it
yeah,
100%. Right
Yeah.
when you got that idea,
yeah,
right? Because if not, something again, motivational stuff, but the law of diminishing intent, right? Is like every day
you lose.
you
Yeah,
lose you lose a little bit more of that
it gets
that
harder.
desire
It
to
gets
want to do
harder
it,
and harder.
right? So
Yeah.
if you're like that day that you get that idea, you're like, nah, I'm committed. What's the first step I gotta take? Get the studio. All right,
Yeah.
how much is it gonna cost? 30. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
'Cause if I do it,
Yeah,
I can't fail.
yeah,
I'm not letting that happen. And
Exactly.
it kind of shifts your whole mindset, right? Like you were just saying, you're nervous at first,
Yeah.
right? Before you make that initial investment. And I would say even throughout the process,
Yeah.
there's little
Yeah.
times where you're like, oh shit, this
Until you see like some light, like you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, and it's like I said, I was like,
sometimes it takes a while to see the light
yes,
too.
yes, like with
And
the studio.
it's a dim light.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not rich. I don't come from money, so like to grab for my family, my kids' money, my wife's, like the family money to just do something that who knows, it might not even work. It does eat at you. If you are a freaking right-minded person and you're actually thinking about your family, those decisions are gonna eat at you.
Absolutely.
So like,
And that's the big
Yeah.
thing, right? It's like even when I kind of stepped away from working for people and doing my own thing,
again, that's
it was
scary.
like,
Yeah,
right? Even to this day, there's some
Yeah.
days where I'm like, shit, bro, I gotta make it happen. We only got work for like 3 weeks.
there's
What am
nobody
I
to
doing
call.
after that?
Yeah, there's nobody to call. Like I can't be
Yeah.
like, hey, boss. Like it's very
Yeah.
easy. Like I said, the boss thing sounds very same thing with me. Like I'm in charge of keeping my side of the company running. My
Yeah.
boss, like I have a boss because, but it's technically not a boss because he's like, well, if your side fails, it fails. That doesn't bother me. So like. When I say I'm going on vacation, it's like, can you go on vacation? Like, if you could
If
do
you
it,
have the time to do it,
go ahead. You could go for a month if you want
Yeah.
to. If you could do it, but
Yeah.
don't expect me to go like
yeah,
you
come
know,
and do your work
exactly.
for you.
Like no,
make it
that's
up.
not what it is.
Yeah.
So it's tough. You have to always like keep track of that. Like I said, when COVID happened, I was like, what? And it's like it's a very like the weirdest thing ever because I've never been unemployed, never been on unemployment since like 14. So I'm like, wait, I lost my job and I didn't do nothing wrong. Like it wouldn't sink in my head. Like I couldn't. So I was like, all right, I need to do something else. And I was thinking, I'm like, what can't they close?
Yeah.
Like literally that's how this happened. Cause I was just like, what can I do that they can't close? Like, because it was so weird for something that I worked so hard for to just
kind of be gone.
yeah,
It's like,
without me, like I was like, if I messed up, like if I did something wrong, I could kind of process that.
yeah.
But that was just like I was so messed up for months that I was just like, I need to do something where like if something happens, this could still work. Or at the time I looked, I'm like, well, podcast is still open, and I always meant to I always wanted to do it, but that was the final push.
Yeah. Gave you the opportunity.
Also, too, the time to have the free time to like map it out and lay it out and before that it was just work so I didn't have the time. So like you said, COVID was a blessing in disguise to a lot of people. Yeah, but listen, man, it was very fun talking to you. I hope we could do it again. I learned a bunch of things, and that is the purpose of my podcast. That's why I started this whole thing. It was just a way to like get knowledge and get to talk to people, since we're old men and we don't party. So
Don't do none of that anymore. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But it was fun, man. And yeah, if you guys want to learn or see what he's doing, where they could find you on Instagram or anything.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. You can look up the company Magnificus Inc. I try to put up the projects we're doing kind of on a regular basis. Um, or on my personal Instagram, it's Machos Too Fresh. That was back in the day
Yeah,
stuff,
you
never
kept it. Yeah, you
updated
never
it.
changed it. Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
works.
no, I try to put some stuff there. I try to put some motivational stuff up
Yeah,
there too, because I think that's a big thing too. Constantly have to be growing, and even like kind of what you just said, right? When COVID shut your business down, you were trying to find somewhere to grow,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
so the studio kind of landed on you, right? I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays, people are just waiting for a handout. They're
Yeah,
kind of acting like victims, and you're not gonna get anywhere like that. You got to take accountability, take responsibility. Like if there was something for you to grow from there,
yeah,
right? You definitely got it right. It was
exactly.
the podcast. It was finding out that okay, there are some things that can happen that are out of my control that can shut something down. So what's another avenue I can find, right? And
A lot of people was just like, well, it wasn't my fault. It's COVID, and they
yeah,
just
and
got
that's it.
stuck
Let me
there.
collect unemployment and
Yep,
these COVID checks until they're done.
exactly,
And it's like, okay, well now it ran out, and
exactly.
now people are still in that same cycle.
And a lot of people went through it. Took a long. I mean, 5 years, 6 years removed from COVID, and there's still a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, because of COVID, I'm like, it's 5 years
That
ago,
was,
man.
yeah.
Like you can't keep using that one.
Yeah,
So yeah, but
definitely.
listen, man. Hopefully we could do it again. Hopefully you have fun, and yeah, thank you, thank you. I mean, you drove an hour and a half to be here. I really, really appreciate that. We just having a conversation. You're a busy guy, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate that. I love to try to help people as well. So that's, whatever I
Perfect,
can do.
perfect. Thank you, thank you. There
Thank
you
you.
guys have it. The E.D.J. podcast. This is the E.D.J. Studios, and keep watching. Thank you.